Hello friends, welcome to Squared Plans. I'm Stephanie and today we're going to be setting up our wellness layouts for the next week in September, which is the first week of fall. And I've got some ink and blending brushes here ready to go, as well as this marker that I'll use. These stat stickers and habit trackers I built on my computer. These various washi tapes that I may use as well. This box of stickers, die cut stickers, and the sticker books which I'll pull from. Okay, so this is the third week of the September Plannable Challenge, and this week's theme is fall colors. So if you'd like to participate, go ahead and post your spreads up on Instagram using the hashtag PlannableSeptember2022. We'd love to see what you come up with. Okay, let's go ahead and lay down some wax paper and get started. I originally was going to do this theme in my horizontal, but decided that my horizontal wasn't quite fitting the bill, so decided to do some fall color here in my wellness. And the tree stickers, all but the one I just showed there, came from the Planning Thing Houses and Trees Part 2 sticker book. And then that quote came from the seasonal fall sticker book from the Happy Planner, just so you know. I pre-pulled them because I wanted to kind of get an idea of what I was going to do for this week, and so I definitely want to do this kind of seasonal tree color change across the spread. I pulled that one yellowish bush from the box of stickers, but it is white backed, it's not a clear sticker. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to use it or not, and I think in the end I'm not, so we will stick with just the clear stickers from the Planning Thing sticker book. I also found this really nice quote, nice and long, that I'm going to cut up now and use that across the page to kind of signify the theme of fall color and how, the leaves change. I think that was a perfect match for this changing leaves theme that I'm going for here. So the other idea I had for this was to use washi to also show some fall color kind of changing across the page. I recently came across this technique of layering washi on top of each other in a plan with me, I think last week. And although it was a little bit different, I wanted to try it here just with these solid colors and see how that turned out. And I think, honestly, it came out really good. You'll see what I mean here in a minute. But I'm going to first cut down this one washi that I have in this almost green-yellow tone that I think will be a nice transition color into the more brighter yellow tone. And I'm going to use that here on top and the bottom. And as you can see, I'm overlapping the washi tapes a bit. So again, it's kind of like a gradient of sorts. So we'll see how this goes. I'm not exactly sure what I want to do here at the center. So for now, I'll just kind of stop it at the spine and then we'll continue on and do the other side similarly to the left. And I'm basically just, laying it down as I go, going from, the greens to the red. But I find out later that it really does matter how you layer the washi to get the colors to really pop. So I changed the layering of the washi a little bit later when I actually put it on the page. So just note that it does kind of matter which washi is on top and which one's on the bottom to see the shade of color you might be going for. So just keep that in mind. I'm also going to cut down this other brown washi that I have. I didn't have much brown washi in my stash, but I did have this one that I'm going to cut down and use. It does have a slight print on it that's kind of like a scripty print, but I think it'll work. It's going to be at the far end, and I also have a darker green one that I'll probably bring in on the left side so that it will feel like they're related in some way, kind of have a little bit of a mirroring with that extra scriptiness on top of the washi tape. As for my stat stickers, I am going to cut up a few of my little rainbow sets that I have and just grab out the colors that basically apply to the trees. I'll be doubling them up, so I have like 2 red, 2 orange, 2 yellow in the same colors, even though there is slight variations in the colors on the trees and in the washi. But because the stat stickers are so light, I don't think it'll really be noticeable, so we're going to work with that. And here's where I'm bringing in that darker green washi that I mentioned before that also has that slight overlay of script font, and I'm going to use that into the sidebar just to kind of continue the color scheme across the spread off the page. And like I said, I didn't end up using that one sticker I'd pulled from that box set, so that will just be set to the side. For a moment I had an idea to maybe do like some falling leaves or something kind of in and around the trees, but I think it would have been pretty hard to make that happen with the stickers that I had and keep that color scheme really true to the way that the leaves are painted on these trees. So for the most part, I just decided to keep it fairly simple, but I did want to beef up that one kind of skinny tree a little bit and make that more full so it balanced better with the rest of the trees. Basically all I did was cut down a smaller tree and kind of add it in as like an additional branch to that tree. And I'm just looking for something to continue those trees into the sidebar just so it feels like, again, it's continuing all the way across the spread and not truncating there on that very first sidebar area. And I was looking for something with a little bit of a darker edge so it matched better with the dark green. This is about as good as I could find here in the Houses and Trees sticker book without the style looking significantly different. There are some photorealistic trees in there that would have had a nice dark green to add in there, but I didn't feel like that matched well enough with what I already had on the spread. And now I'm back in that seasonal fall sticker book from the Happy Planner, just looking for some items for the sidebar. And I thought it'd be nice to bring in just a little header there that says today with the same font as the quote, just again trying to bring some repetition now into the spread and into the sidebar. And for a moment I wanted to try maybe some different ideas for where I might place the washi. So I'm going to take the tape off of the page and just kind of get an idea of how things are going to lay out. I'm going to start with putting in the stat stickers though. I want to have those on the sheet, and then we will play around with the positioning of like the washi tape and the trees and the quote and just see if this is the final resting place I want to go with. And just dropping in the last of the stat stickers now. And I also need to white out the lines where the washi tape is going to hit, and also in that main section, so that I will have a space for the trees and then also for workouts and things I can easily write those in. So I'm just going to cover up the lines with a white opaque pen. I'm using a Sakura Jelly Roll white pen. And this and many of the other things you might see me use here that are more like tools, like my cutting mat, things like that, are all in the description below under my favorite things, because I use them pretty much in every video, so it just doesn't feel like I should add those again as something that I used in this particular video, since I use them all the time. So I just added a little section at the bottom of the description that says my favorite things or planning things, and that's where you'll find information for those items. And And then I thought I was done, but then I was like, well, maybe, like I said, I could rearrange the washi tape and try something different. Maybe actually write the workouts in the activity section and then just line that middle section instead with the trees, which I kind of liked. I think that could have been really nice too, but I don't know. I want fall color to be really the main focus here, so yes, it would be, but it would feel a little constrained if I only did that one box, versus including the two boxes feels like it takes up more of the spread. So I think maybe I'll end up just sticking with what I had originally envisioned. And I'll go ahead and finish writing out those boxes then that I need to clean out. And I'll just do a little bit too where the washi is going to run into the sidebar, just so it has a nice clean end. So like I said, it does seem to matter the way you layer the washi. So I'm going to do the opposite of what I did when I actually laid it down onto the sheet, which is to layer the lighter washi, or relatively lighter washi, on top for the most part. Once I get over to the green is also on the top over the yellows, but at this point here, I'm going from dark to light, with the light being on top of the washi tape. I also just sort of laid it down real quick onto the wax paper. So here I'm taking the time to kind of see how much overlap I'm putting in on each side of the washi and trying to even those things out, clean up any funky edges, things like that. But already I can kind of feel the difference with the overlap on this side versus how it was before. So I think it's going to look really good with just the way that I'm layering it now, which is, you know, having the top washi be on top, the top washi be on top, the washi be the way that I'm showing you. I guess that's the only way I can describe it, but flipped from the way I laid it down. I've got one more line here to do. You'll be able to see the color change pretty dramatically in a little bit when I figure out what I'm doing with those two extra long spine pieces of washi, and why, again, I mentioned that it does matter how they layer. And I will just set in these habit trackers, which I wanted butted up right up against that washi tape. Really wanted it to look like it was coming right out of the line of the washi. And then I wanted that today to be like just above, almost sitting on the line of the washi, so just made that adjustment. And now I'm going to trim off all the excess. So here's where you're going to see me pull in a little bit more of the washi tape layering on the spine. I decided I really wanted that look to carry all the way through across the middle, so I'm going to add that in. And I was just going to lay this guy on top, which would have been the reverse of the way that it should have been. So I don't know if you could see how much darker the washi was going to look before I made that adjustment, but after I laid it underneath, it definitely lightened things up quite a bit. And now we're going to lay in the quote. I went back and forth on the position of this quote. I thought it would be good on the top, but I really did like it on the bottom for some reason, even though the trees are kind of ungrounded when I set them in. You know, they're kind of just floating there in space, but I just really like the quote being right there up against the bottom of the washi tape, so I went with that. But it would have been really nice too, having the trees actually you know, coming out of the washi tape and then finding another place for that quote. I just felt like that was going to bring me joy having the quote where I did, and so I left it there. We'll try to find good positionings for these trees, basically centering them underneath their day marker and then trying to lift them up kind of on top of the quote, some bringing them much closer to the quote and some giving a little bit more air or space around it. Feels a little bit sparse, but I really did like how it turned out. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also too, go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch, and think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. Bye!